You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi folks, Chris Voss here from the chrisvossshow.com, the chrisvossshow.com. Hey, we're coming here with another great podcast. Hey, we're doing some quick podcasts here for Collision Conference 2022. If you're watching this years from now, we're going to be covering some of the different booths that are at the Collision Conference. And so this will be pretty exciting. If you're there, you'll know some of the places you want to take a look at. Today we have Kiwi TCMS's Alex Todorov. He is the CEO and project lead of Kiwi TCMS. Welcome to the show, Alex. How are you?
Hello, Chris. I'm fine. I'm doing awesome.
There you go. And give me
a
little tired there. Give me as much audio as you can, though, because we've got a lot of background noise. If you would,
Oh,
you
okay.
you can probably yell at me if you want. What's the .com or .org that is for your website?
It's .org. It's KiwiTCMS.org.
Okay. It's Kiwi KIWITCMS.org.
Yes, correct.
There you go. And you're going to want to give me as much audio as you can when it comes to loudness. Just project right into the mic. Yeah. What give us an overview of your company and what you guys do.
Yeah. So what do we do is I'll take a step back. So we are at Collision Conf, and there are hundreds of startups who are building products or applications, mobile, web, blockchain, etc. And all of these are in nature, they are technical products. So it comes to a point in time where all these startups, they do need to actually test and verify that the products work as they are supposed to before the product goes out to customers. So what Kiwi TCMS is, it is a specialized software which is meant to be used by other test engineers. Where these test engineers, they can document the way that they work, they can document their workflow, they can document the results of their actions every day on every build of the product that they're testing. And then the test engineer can go up to their boss or to the product owner and say, listen, that's what we've done. We feel confident about the product. We've covered a lot of scenarios. We've covered a lot of environments or a lot of devices where our product is supposed to work. And then we can guarantee that there is some quality built into the product and it is safe to release to customers.
There you go. And it's a leading open source test management system for manual and automated testing. What created the need for this in your guys' mind as to why this needed to come to market?
Yeah, well, it's a very interesting story. So the, open source, it started as what you would call a project long time ago. And it was actually started by a very big open source vendor way back before 2009. We aren't sure, of the original story, why it came to be, what necessitated this thing to exist. Later down the line, the actual source code of the product was released on the internet. It was open for everybody to take and to modify and to build up upon it. And I do have a career in quality engineering for very many years. And there was a time where I worked for a customer. We did need a similar system for that particular customer. I knew that it existed, so I just took it down from the internet, deployed it to the customer, and just did the job. And very quickly after that, we realized there's quite a lot of problems within the previous software that existed. So because it's open source, everybody is free to modify and build on top of it. I started doing exactly that, modifying, changing the software, making it better. And over time, it went through several different transformations until it became Kiwi TCMS. And then I decided, well, it's been a hobby open source project until now. but it's not fun doing it alone. So let me build a team and let me build a community around all of this and see if it takes hold. And lo and behold, it actually did. So much so that we are almost to the 2 million milestone, 2 million downloads milestone, maybe in a couple of months.
That's awesome.
So we took off, awesome. Yeah, and it took off from there. We did continue a few more years just working as a open source team. We did see a lot of traction, so we decided let's see what will happen if we start offering subscription services. Just put a button on the website where people can actually pay money, and people started actually paying money and requesting services. So that's how we started, and we came to a point where we realized that we need to transform, to pivot from being an open source project to actually being a startup company and do business. So and here are we today.
There you go. Doing business is always good. So anything special you're showing at Collision Conference, or just pretty much promoting the company?
Yeah, we are promoting the company, and it's our first time here. So the focus is on talking to as many startups as we can, just kind of to spread the word out there, to showcase the product. We did have a couple of successful connections already today, because everybody needs testing. So we say in the industry, we say if it's not in the TCMS system, then you don't test it. If it's not documented, it doesn't exist, because you need your ultimate source of documentation, ultimate source of truth, which is Kiwi TCMS. So showcasing the product, talking to other technical people, because we speak the same language, we can relate very quickly. Talking to potential partners, see what we can do together. There's a lot of promising leads. We do need to put a lot of effort to actually turn this into reality. But this is up to us, of course. And the interesting thing for for the attendees maybe, that we bring is what we call hardware black boxes. So in the world of software testing, we have this concept of black box testing versus white box testing. So black box is when you have a product and you don't know how it works exactly, you don't know the internals. You feed input, like clicking with the mouse on a button or changing screens in the application. And then you have output, which is you observe what's happening in the product, and you try to figure out, well, is this the correct thing that I should be observing? That's what we call black box testing. So we took this idea, we partnered up with a hacker school in Serbia. So they did their own original research on top of that idea, and we came up with hardware devices which are built on top of Arduino, and they are of course black in color. So they are small, not big boxes, where you have buttons, you have LEDs, you have switches and knobs, and you can try to figure out how exactly do they work. Some of the buttons, for example, seem important, but they don't actually do anything. And this is up for the person just playing around with those boxes to try to figure out. And not only that, but these are actually devices which are meant to showcase a certain bias in the human brain. So all of them have different psychological research behind them. There is some sort of theory. And those biases, when you are a technical person, when you are an engineer, they are actually bad for you. Because they prevent you to do your job well, or you look only one-sidedly at your job. So we are supposed to be very skilled at our jobs, and we're supposed to recognize those biases and try to get away from them. So that's why we have this, and of course they are open source black boxes. We have the full designs and everything for them. It's on the internet. Everybody can just download the information, build their own boxes, 3D print the cases.
That's awesome, man. And it sounds like this really helps developers out with everything they're doing. And you offer looks like a lot of different solutions here. You've got an enterprise subscription, private tenant subscription, and just self-support, managed hosting as well.
Yeah, we do have several different layers of subscription, or what we could offer to customers, because there is very big difference between the size of teams and the kind of the type of organization that may use Kiwi TCMS. A lot of them are relatively small. They don't have the time, and a lot of cases they don't even have the resources and the knowledge to actually deploy the system and host it themselves. So for them, it's easy to just consume something that's provided software as a service, point and click, and it's ready to go. And on the other spectrum, you have the big enterprises who do need extra features, who are like they have 1,000 engineers using the system. They do need access control. They operate in much more, strictly confined environments. So they have all sorts of requirements around you. So we need to be able to service those as well.
Well, this is pretty interesting. Anything more we need to touch on before we go out? We got it all in the can?
Yeah, well, we can talk a little bit about community.
Sure.
Because that's our biggest strength. So like I say, we start from a grassroots movement. We've had contributions from pretty much everywhere in the world. The ones kind of which are most valuable to me, we've got contributions from Nigeria and from Kenya in Africa.
Wow.
And we didn't even think, we didn't even know there could be high IT market or demand for systems like ours. We've seen contributors from Nepal, which you would think, Nepal is this mountainous country. What is an IT system doing being used in Nepal? But it's also a very big country. They do have a very big e-commerce market locally. We've seen contributions from countries like Italy, Georgia, the US, Brazil. We do invest heavily into community outreach. We did have mentorship programs for community. We did work with students in the past as well. That's been an awesome experience, starting with somebody who's not very experienced in the IT industry and just driving them through their contributions, helping them learn, mentor them in order to boost their own careers. So we've done a lot of things on the community side.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, community is really important, and if you're helping people learn, educate, and come up through the ranks and figure stuff out and make the world a better place, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. The most awesome thing about community is you get to go to an event and somebody that you haven't seen before, they come to you and say, well, I am such and such person, I did this and this for your project, or we exchange emails, we talk about this topic, and then you realize, okay, yeah, I've talked to this person, that's awesome. And you get to meet these people live.
That is awesome, man. That is awesome. Well, it sounds awesome that you've built this thing. Anything more we want to touch on before we go?
I think that's about it.
There you go. There you go. Well, it sounds good. It's been wonderful to have you. Give us your website one more time so that people can find it on the interwebs.
Yeah, our website is Kiwi TCMS.org, so KIWI-TCMS.org.
There you go. And thank you very much for being on the show. We really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
There you go. And thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to check everyone out. If you're at the Collision Conference, go see by their booth. Do you know your booth number off the top of your head?
Yeah, 83201.
There you go. Or go to their website, check them out at Kiwi TCMS.org. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. And we'll see you guys